welcome to Lunchtime Chair Yoga. If you have a chair that has rollers or wheels on the bottom, you want to make sure those are secure so that as you do some of these different moves that your chair doesn't move on you and create problems. So we're going to start seated, clearly, with, we can start standing up too, y'all. So you are going to just adjust so that you can comfortably rest your feet on the floor. So for me, that means you come in a little bit forward on the chair. And then finding a spot where it sort of feels like your spine holds itself up in a nice, even way. Your shoulder blades are able to fall down your back. And then you can rest your palms either face down or face up. Or you can cup one palm inside the other as you like. So just whatever is comfortable for your arms. Then you might want to close your eyes and just give yourself a chance to kind of go inside and breathe. Check in with the breath. Once you've got a nice rhythmic breath going, you can kind of come back out to the edges a little bit and notice, is there tension across your forehead? Can you soften around the eyes? Can you let your mouth or your jaw relax a bit? Oh, have your shoulders been positioned in such a way that they've kind of rolled forward, and can they simply relax a little bit down your back? Not particularly complicated, but not always easy to relax the shoulders. And then come back home to the breath. Take some deep breaths all the way down to the bottom of the torso. Let the breaths drop in as deep as they'll drop. So we're going to take one more big inhale. And then you're going to drop your chin and we'll roll the head up and over one shoulder. We're just going to do one shoulder for a moment. So whatever shoulder you picked, we're going to stay with that. Roll down so that your chin gets close to your collarbone, and then roll so that the chin goes up. And we're just going to go back and forth like that over the same shoulder, feeling this place around the neck. So on this side, so my head is going to my left, which means my right shoulder and side of the neck is what's stretching. And so as I'm rolling back and forth here, I'm just noticing. And I'm checking to see if one spot feels a little tighter than the other. Now, this part of my neck feels pretty good. As I come around to the side, I start to feel this muscle right here. So I'm going to get to the point where I feel that stretch the most, interestingly, and then I'm going to hang this arm and pause there. We'll take a couple more deep breaths here. Or yawns, as the case may be. Alright, so return your hand to your thigh, and then we're going to bring the head back to the center, and then just pause for a moment, and see if you notice a difference between your right shoulder and your left shoulder. There might be a slight difference, there might not be. Then we're going to take the chin back down, and we're going to roll the head the other direction. Go nice and slow and be gentle, and just roll back and forth, chin towards the collarbone, chin goes up toward the ceiling. Right? Just go back and forth over that shoulder. Okay, so looking for the tight spot. This side is not as tight, but there is a spot like right on the side of my neck, right there. It feels a little tighter than the other spot, so I'm going to stick with that. Let this arm hang over, and And then just pause, and again, you can do a little bit of movement, you can hold it steady, whatever seems like the best idea. Make sure your spine is not leaning. Ooh, pardon me. I think I needed one more coffee this morning. So we're gonna hang steady here. So for me, this is a much more mild stretch than I was experiencing on my right side. So we'll take a big breath. Bring that hand back to the lap. Go ahead and bring your chin back to the center and let your head float up. And then notice, see if things feel a little bit more even on both sides. So we're gonna move the shoulder blades through a pattern. So right now I'm squeezing them together. I'm gonna pull them down. Bring my shoulder blades as far forward as I can, and then bring them up, bring them back, squeeze them down, bring them forward. Shoulder movements. And when you get to the bottom, we're going to go the other way. So we're going to bring the shoulders together, up the back, bring them forward and down. Together, up the back, bring them forward and down. Together, up the back, and then forward and down. And do that a few more times. And one more. So when we get to the bottom, we're going to pause there. You're going to lift the shoulders up and then drop them. Lift the shoulders up and drop them. Lift the shoulders up, oh, and drop them one more time. Lift the shoulders up, oh, and drop them. Good. All right, so we're gonna do some little cat-cow shapes. So I'm gonna scooch out away from the back of my chair quite a bit. So I've got lots of room. So we're gonna tilt the pelvis backwards so the top rim kind of tilts up and the back rim of the pelvis goes back, and that lets our back round a little bit like a cat. And then we're gonna tilt the front of the pelvis forward, lift the breastbone, and that creates this little cobra shape. So we're going to do cats and cobras, going backwards into cat and forward into cobra. And I like being on the tip of the chair because it helps me move a little bit bigger. So if you don't have a lot of room on your chair, you'll just move as big as you can, given the circumstances. Last one. Now, after we've done this little cobra shape, we're going to come back to what feels like a neutral back. You can make sure that you've got enough chair into you to be nice and stable. And then we'll do these little washing machines. Now let your arms get really flingy. Just let them go loose, however far they want to go. So we're not twisting from the arms, right? We're turning from the waist, and the arms are along for the ride. Now we're going to do two more of these. 1, 2, and you're going to turn whatever way you're going and stay right there. Sit up nice and tall. Now, if your hand will reach around to the outside, fine. Reach around to the outside. Otherwise, put one hand on the inside. I like to grab the chair with the other hand and then get a little bit taller. Lift the breastbone up a little bit. See if there's any more room that your upper back wants to move. Sometimes it feels good to me to bring one shoulder forward and one shoulder back. Kind of gives my upper back a little bit more of a twist around the shoulder blades. It's not really moving my spine, but it gets the muscle in my upper back moving, and I like that. Take one more breath, and then we're going to release that. Okay, give it a second. A couple little movements back and forth, a little side to side. Oh, a little washing machine. And we're going to wait until we feel the spine just sort of shift into what feels like a little bit more of a neutral position. So when we twist, or when we side bend, or when we forward bend, or when we back bend, what the spine moves the fluid around in our discs. And so we want to get kind of, there's a feeling where you just kind of feel more even, right? And that's what we're looking for. So it usually takes me about 30 seconds to get to there. So I'm twisting the other direction, plant the feet, get really tall, lift the breastbone, see where your hands want to go. Just the outside of your chair, feel like you can grab it. What about the inside or the outside of your leg? And then again, you might decide, like last time what I did is I brought my front shoulder a little bit forward and my back shoulder a little bit backward. And that just adds that little bit of extra upper back. Try not to use your arms to force your spine to twist more. Just do the shoulder blades. It's going to be very subtle movement. Most of us don't have a huge range of motion in our shoulder blades. They move a little bit to the front, a little bit to the back, a little bit to the sides. They're not huge. The arm, on the other hand, lots of range of motion. Hopefully. Take one more breath. All right, so we're gonna let go. We're gonna come back, and again, we're gonna do a little like back and forth, a little side to side, a little washing machine. Just let everything get loose. All right, so we're gonna do, pardon me, whew. Okay, definitely needed more coffee today. I always have 1 cup of coffee, but today I think should have been a 2 cup of coffee day. In any case, we're gonna take the legs out wide because we're here now. We're gonna let the yoga do our best. So I've got my legs in a wide V. I'm gonna take one elbow to one thigh, give myself a little stretch over, and then I'm gonna come up, do the opposite. So, like a little blown palm work. And you can get into this as much as you want, but we're gonna stop on one end here and make it a little bit bigger. So for now, it can be really light. Just starting to feel the muscles in the sides of your waist and your low back. Oh, and around the shoulder. Changing into the sideways shape. Oh. 2 more. 1. Oh. And 2. And then when we come back, next time we're gonna turn this into a side angle pose. Now, all you have to do is land here, lift up, and extend, and that might be all the side angle you need. If your hip will allow a little bit more movement, you can rotate just a little bit around the edge of the chair so that you can extend this leg without running into the corner, okay? So then when we come into this stretch, you can stretch both down through the leg and up through the torso, and also out through the arm, and get a little bit bigger. So I'm not using my elbow so much, but I'm using it for, you know, kind of like a little bit of resistance and a little bit of balance, but I'm trying to use my core muscles to really engage that stretch, because that's the stuff I'm trying to stretch anyway. 2 more breaths. Hip flexors and the side of the waist and all the muscles in my back. And then we're gonna come all the way back up. Now again, we're gonna let things kind of shift, but while we're at it, we can turn it the other direction. So kind of take the leg around the edge of the chair so that I can get a little bit away from this corner, and so my thigh will stretch out without that corner poking me right in my muscles. I might have to go forward of it or back. This is feeling okay to come a little behind it. Press down into the floor, elbow to your thigh, stretch that side out. And again, I'm stretching in this direction and I'm stretching in that direction. Or you're holding that position you had at the beginning and just doing the upper body. Both are great. It just depends on your hips and how things go as to what's going to be the best answer for you. Oh, but it feels really nice. 2 more breaths. And then we're going to come on back to the center. All right. So we've done some good work for the shoulders, our back, a little bit of hip. We're going to keep going with the hips in a second, but let's do a little bit of wrist while we're here. So we're going to spin the hands, especially if you've been on the computer all morning. Oh, it feels nice. So spin and then go the other direction. Oh. These little lunch break classes are a great way to kind of break up the day. I don't know if you guys have the same experience. Spread out your fingers really wide, like you're trying to get lightning bolts to shoot out of your fingertips, and curl them in. When I work in an office, there's almost always like a little bit of activity going on, other people walking by, other things happen, people need stuff. So there's sort of ways to break up my day. But when I work from home, for me anyway, I disappear into my computer for hours. I'll have sat there for 4, 5, 6 hours without realizing I haven't moved, except for this, right? So especially if you're working from home now, it's good to take this little break in the middle of the day and give yourself a little bit of chance to move around a little. Okay, so now we're going to stretch the hands out. We're going to lace the fingers together, and we're going to do this little movement in the wrist. We're going to take one hand and stretch the back of the arm. So we're stretching these muscles here in the bottom of the forearm. Then we're going to stretch these muscles on the top of the forearm. Now, if you can, stretch your thumb out while you're doing this. Feel, when you stretch your thumb out and you bring the thumb back, can you feel this muscle in your forearm that is kind of responsible for that thumb? Give that muscle a little massage while you hold the hand in that stretched out position, and that can relieve some pressure from your thumb if it's been over your device or over the mouse. So let's do the other side. So we're going to do a little stretch this way, do a little stretch this way, pull that thumb out, and then try to feel the space. For me, it's this muscle that wraps from this side around down to my thumb is the muscle that feels like I can perceive it doing its little job. Just kind of massage that area. Okay, now, upper body's good. So we're gonna scoot forward a little bit on the chair just so that we can get one leg in the air. Now, if you can hold on to your whole leg, hold on to your whole leg. If that's impossible, put your big toe on the floor and then rock back and forth like this, okay? And so then we're gonna rock our baby. So we're just gonna give this leg a little side to side movement, and I'm trying to move this femur bone right in my hip socket. So without hurting your knee, how high can that leg go? Can it go up high enough to come up onto your thigh? Or should the leg go down across your shin? It can go either way. Clearly, the higher up your leg is, the more intensity you're going to experience. But if you experience knee pain, then it's not worth it, okay? So the leg down lower is going to be better because we're going to slowly work in towards a little more space over time. So I'm going to press down a little bit into my sit bones. So I'm pushing my sit bones down into the chair, and I'm going to get a little taller, and then I'm going to see if I can close this gap right here, bringing my pelvis toward my thigh. If that causes any pain in the knee, back off. Because we're not trying to wreck our knee, we're trying to stretch our hip. But because they're connected to each other, if one isn't willing to go, the other will pay the price. Especially along this IT band, right? If you're feeling a lot of pressure going into the side of your knee, back off. It's better. Take 2 more breaths. Good, now we're gonna take hold of the thigh and you're gonna extend the leg as best you can. Give those hamstrings a stretch on the back of your thigh. Ooh, I'm spreading my toes apart as wide as I can. The big toe likes to move, the little toes like to hang out like a mitten. They don't want to separate, but I'm trying. All right, so then we're gonna let this leg go, spin the foot in some circles, give the ankle joint a little release, and go the other direction with little ankle circles, and then point and flex. Okay, now we're gonna take this leg and bring it around behind us a little bit. So I'm gonna scoot all the way to the edge of the chair, and it's sort of like a lunge. So this foot's grounded, and this knee is gonna go behind me, okay? I'm gonna leave the knee bent. I'm gonna lift up nice and tall here, and then I'm just gonna see how far back will my thigh go before it causes trouble. So I wanna feel a little bit of stretch across the front of the thigh, a little bit of stretch in the front of the hip. If your knee takes the pressure, just don't go any farther. Something's happening. It may not be particularly strong sensation, because some of these areas in the body don't have a huge amount of nerve endings. So we're just gonna go until we feel a little something. Doesn't have to be a lot. Last big breath here. Good, so we're gonna lean a little bit away from that, bring that leg out of there. Ooh, give it a little rinse. And we get to repeat this entire sequence on the other side. So we're gonna bring ourselves a little bit forward, pick up a leg, give it a little rock the baby. And then if you can, see if it'll come up on top. If it doesn't go up on top, go across your shin or across your ankle. And then sit up tall. Again, I'm pressing my sit bones down to the chair. lifting through my breastbone, and then right here at this gap, I'm gonna see if I can just bring my pelvis forward into that space, okay? So that the pelvis moves forward. I'm not rounding or hunching my back. And then I want, like, maybe I'm gonna feel that in my buttock. It might be more towards this outer edge of my thigh. Could be down all the way along this edge. Just make sure there's nothing sharp or shooting in your knee. Or even a burning sensation is problematic in a joint. And then especially no pain on the outside or inside edge of the knee. Those are tricky places where there's connective tissue. We don't want to be pinching that. If you feel it, you may have gone too far. like it's very, there's not a lot of nerve endings. So if we're feeling sensation there, we're really being pushy, okay? Be nice to your knee. We're gonna take 2 more breaths. Okay, so we're gonna come out of this, and again, we're gonna extend this leg. So I'm gonna grab the back of my thigh if I can, and then I'm gonna extend that leg as far as it'll go. And so I've got a little stretch in the back of my thigh. Now you can hold onto your big toe as well if you wanna do that. If your hamstrings aren't that long, don't do that. Do this. So we're gonna take 2 more breaths here. I'm gonna try to kind of sit myself up and bring my thigh up a little higher if it'll go. Good, big inhale. And then with the exhale, let that leg kind of bend, still holding it, spin your foot in circles. And then go the other direction. And then we're gonna point and flex. All right, so now we're gonna do the lunge on this side. So we're gonna come all the way to this edge of the chair, okay? So I'm right up on the edge, and I've got plenty of room for this leg to move. Then keeping my knee bent, I'm just gonna kind of slide my toes back. I might have to angle myself so I'm not in the way of my furniture until I feel something on the top of this thigh. And then lift really nicely up through your torso so that you'll pull the muscles that kind of connect in there up this way too. And as soon as you have just a little something on the top of the thigh, that's all you need. So we've got a lunge, and some people will have a straighter leg. I always want, in this particular arrangement, I always want a little bit of a bent knee. This is going to be a little less dangerous. There's certain positions on chairs that I can get a fully straight leg, but the chair doesn't always match my own bone structure. Taking 1 more big breath. Now I'm gonna, again, kind of lean a little bit and bring my knee forward, okay? And then, we've done everything. So take a moment and just feel. We're gonna do some balance work and some down dog on the chair, but first, I just like to take this moment and check in. All right, so we're gonna stand up and use the chair for our balancing practice and our down dog. Now, I like to use the base of the chair. If you need it to be a little bit taller, you can turn your chair sideways like this, and then you can do your downward dog up a little higher, okay? I like it to be a little more of a V, and really it depends a little bit on whether your head can go lower than your hips and the chair that you're working with, okay? So if you can, take your head a little lower than the hips so that the hips are a little bit up here and the head's a little bit down here, then use the base of your chair and pull yourself back. And you can do a little a little pull from one side to the other. You can walk your feet back a little farther if you care to. My arms are very close to hugging my ears. And as I press my hips back behind me, I get more stretch. If I bend my knees and sort of lean backwards, I get a little more in my shoulders. Good, so we're gonna take 2 more breaths here. And then we're gonna come up to the chair. And essentially what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make sure that I can put my hand either right on the edge this way or right on the edge that way. You can also use the top of the chair, that'll be fine, and I'm gonna start like that. So my right hand right now is on the top of the chair, and I'm gonna take my left leg back behind me, and if I can do it, I'm gonna let go with that right hand so I can stretch out in a spinal balance here. It's like half warrior 3. So we're holding steady. Good, take 1 more breath.
And then I'm going to bring that down. So now I'm going to put my right hand on the chair. I'm going to turn it this way because it's a little easier for me to bite into the edge. You can also walk all the way around to the other end of your chair, okay? I have a little more room over here. So I'm going to take my right leg up in the air and my left arm out and stretch between those 2 points. And I'm lifting, and lengthening. Don't give up, we're almost there. 2 more breaths. Don't forget to breathe. Last one. Okay, hand to the chair, leg in, and then we're gonna come up. Give that all a rinse. That is a really good way to strengthen your core, actually, yogis. So if you are not used to doing the spinal balance, definitely put that into your world. So I'm standing beside my chair. The leg that's closest to the chair is gonna be the one that I'm gonna put my weight on, and then I'm going to bring my left leg into a tree. Now I'm holding the chair for now, but I'm going to try to let go of it. So I'm going to get just a little further away. I'm going to bring one arm up and then the other and try to balance. Now when you fall, catch with your foot rather than catch with your arm, okay? Because catching with your foot is going to train your body to catch when you're wobbly, and especially as we get older, this is an important body memory that we want to reinforce. Is not trying to catch the arms, because if I'm tripping over the curb or over the sidewalk going out to my car or in from the grocery store or whatever, I'm not going to have a chair there to catch, right? So I'm going to have to rely on my body catching itself. So one more time on this leg, and we're just going to hold it as long as we can, and when you fall, catch, or for 2 more breaths. And then put that leg down. Now I'm going to go to the other side, just because I think it's a little easier with the tree balance to not have a chair where my knee wants to be. So I'm going to take the tree on the other side, arm up, and then we're going to try to hold. And it might be that you're stronger on one side and this might be your wobbly side. One more breath here. Come down for a moment. We're going to do it twice more. Because we can. So coming back to our tree. Again, you can use the chair to get yourself started. Because most of the time this is a weird position. I don't stand this way unless I'm trying to. This is fully intentional standing. And the last big breath here. Then we're going to bring that leg down. Give everything a shimmy. We got 1 more round to go. Ready? Let's do it. So coming back to our tree, we're going to stay as long as we can, or 5 big breaths. And again, what matters more is that you respond to the wobble, not that you're wobbly. You don't have to hold it still. 2 more breaths to get some benefit here. Last breath. Okay, coming on down. Now yogis, that's the end of our chair class today, but if you wanted to, you could take a couple moments just to come back to where we started. Collect your thoughts. Feel that energy shift in your body from doing a practice today. And then go off and have your lunch and get back to work or whatever it is you're doing. Maybe you're doing this at 2 in the morning and you got other things to do, like go to sleep. Let's take a nice big breath together. Big inhale. Big deep sigh. Namaste, yogis. Thanks for joining me.